Okay.
Good evening. I'd like to call the September 12th, 2023 regular business meeting of the Borough Verona Council. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Provenza. Present. Mr. Floto.
Here.
Mayor Cuprio.
Here.
Mr. Alexander.
Present.
President Suchovich.
Here.
Ms. Redzak.
Present.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Mr. Fitch.
Here.
Mr. Craig.
Here.
And Mr. Long.
Here.
Thank you. Any additional emergency agenda items?
Mr. President, I just have one. I would just like to update, the board, on, real quickly on civil service hiring.
Okay. Um. I'd like to also put on the action items, a motion to, about the, October workshop meeting. We have it under discussion, but I want to do an action item on it. Okay, anything else? Registered comments from the public, Vince Flota and Tim Long, LVAF, truck presentations. Please approach the podium, state your name and address, please.
We just wanted to
I just
present
wanna-
checks to Lower Valley Emergency Medical Services, Verona Volunteer Fire Department, and the Verona Police Budget.
You know, they can't hear you, Vince, unless you're at the mic.
We just want to present the donation checks to Lower Valley EMS, Verona Volunteer Fire Department, and the Verona Police Bike Derby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. $100 for each of you. We wish it was more, but every little bit counts, right? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for helping out. Thank you for helping out.
Very good, thank you.
You get a picture?
You guys stand together. I got a bunch of handshaking.
Make sure you get a good side.
You better turn around.
Yeah.
Where's that clothes on?
Get out cross that.
And she does a check.
Of course he has.
This time I'll take comments from the public at this time. Raise, approach the podium or raise your virtual hands. Clearly state your name and address. Sign your name and address on the sign-up sheet. Limit your comment to 3 minutes, please.
Good evening, is the mic open?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Roy Harbert, I live at 512 Center Avenue, and I submitted my name for consideration for the Planning Commission. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself. My wife and I just moved here approximately 3 years ago from the South Hills. Her sister was diagnosed with brain cancer, and she was spending a lot of time just traveling back and forth. So we found this home, and we really enjoy it here. I've always wanted to be involved in some of the community activities, but for 45 years, I've traveled the world for a telecommunications company as an engineer, instructor, and so on and so forth. So never really had the chance. So now I'm semi-retired. I don't travel much anymore. I think my background in project management, engineering, electronics will help qualify me for this position. And I just hope you will give me some consideration for that.
Anybody have
Any questions?
What was your address?
512 Center.
Just want to make sure that you were.
Yeah. very-
I-
Yep, we
Thank,
tried.
thank you for stepping up.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, but I do,
Did you, did you
I
read
have
the
a
small
question.
print that says you're in it for the long haul?
Well, I plan to be, so.
Oh, that's good.
Nancy has a question for you,
Okay.
sir.
So I hear you have a lot of background in engineering then, that's what you've done for your job.
Telecommunications
Yeah.
engineer, yes.
What about, comprehensive plans for communities, you know anything about that?
I'm not well versed in that. But I do think that project management skills that I've developed in my career would add to that capability. I just would have to do some learning on the specifics of that topic.
We'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for stepping up.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, one more question. One more-
See, you
Sorry,
know what you're getting
Gloria,
yourself into.
We're giving you the real treatment right now.
It's all right.
You said you were really enjoying your time in Verona, which is wonderful. I was just wondering if there was anything in particular that you most enjoyed about Verona?
I think the community spirit here.
Yeah.
My niece and nephew live in town.
Yeah.
And they're, the niece is the daughter of my sister-in-law who, unfortunately has passed. But, our home has a pool. We had a Riverview football team over the other day to swim in our pool. You know, we just like to be involved and, it's a fine place to live. I hope I can add to it.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Kelsey and Caleb Mayhood.
Oh, okay, I work with Caleb.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, he works for Verona Village Inn.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
He's a
I know,
dishwasher. but he
small
won't do
world.
it at home.
That sounds like.
Roy, come meet some people on, September 23rd at the community picnic
I,
up on Cripsville.
I plan to do that.
Great. And bring all your friends.
All three of
Yeah. Well, you'll make more friends.
I bet I will. All right, anything else?
Very good.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
for your
really
time.
done. Thank you.
Thank you for stepping up. Nobody virtual? Okay. We'll go to council reports. Approval of the minutes from the July 25th workshop meeting. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Floto, second by Mr. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Hanging basket request. We're gonna, what's that? We're gonna table that.
Why are we tabling that?
But they asked for it to be tabled.
Oh,
Angela
right,
sent
right,
it.
right.
Angela sent the email out.
Okay,
Okay. The workshop meeting is gonna be October 31st. The workshop meeting in October will be October 31st. There was some emails going around about what we should do about it. My opinion is, we used to cancel workshops throughout the summer, all the summer months. So I have no problem with canceling this workshop meeting in October,
It's Halloween.
being that it's Halloween, right? So,
I was gonna say, I anticipate we'll probably be adding a meeting for budget discussions in November, so, I'm considering it more like a reschedule.
well, the budget meeting would be a budget meeting though,
Yeah,
so that's what you, Craig, you'd have to go just the budget.
You
You could do anything,
could extend the budget meeting into a workshop meeting if you want.
Okay.
You could, there's ways to do whatever you
Okay.
need to.
yeah, so maybe like a budget focused,
Mhm.
budget heavy
There would
workshop.
probably be a budget.
well, let's see where we're at the time,
Yeah,
right?
I just don't want to exclude anything
No.
important that may come up.
No, right, exactly.
So I make a motion to cancel that meeting while we're.
Can we do that now, or do we have to do an action items?
Good.
Okay, let's do it now. I'll take a motion to cancel the October 31st workshop meeting.
I'll make that.
Mr. Craig first, Mrs. Preventa second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Craig, do I have to advertise that?
You do not.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Mayor?
One real quick thing, Mary Sheridan and I have been talking back and forth. Mary Sheridan's the head of civil service, along with Dom Conti and Pat McCarthy. They met with the candidate yesterday, gave her the civil service test. And the next step will be to do the agility test. Then once that's passed, then she'll come back to the civil service and for more or less a question and answer, then they will bring their findings to us. Then I'll turn it over to our police committee, for review, then we'll go from there, as far as hiring, if everything turns out. I just wanted to, update you. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Borough managers report,
Hold
Stephanie.
on. Guys are moving really fast. Okay, first things first, full service network, as we're beginning to do our budgeting process, I brought this to the finance committee a while ago. This is a phone system project that would allow us to not only fix the phones here, so everybody's more connected and we're able to connect to our cell phones, but it would also allow us to connect to the fire department, so we could pass messages on to the fire department. We currently, for our phones and internet, just for admin in the police department, pay $541.50. The contract
Come
with
on,
a month. The contract with full service network would be about $350 per month. And that's a 5-year contract with no raises, so we would have a constant. So that's about a savings about $190 a month. So when we get to action items, I have a motion to ask for this.
Would it be all the same services that we're getting now, or even more?
It'd be exactly the same services plus call forwarding plus, we'd all be able to have our own mailboxes. We currently can't have our own mailbox, like as staff, we don't have our own mailboxes. It's a little strange how it's set up.
And it would maybe be set up in a way that makes more sense, hopefully.
I mean, the system works if you're calling in. It's a system, it's once it gets in that we have a problem with it, but yes.
No, I'm saying this new system maybe might be easier for you guys to use.
Oh, yeah, and I've done it before, so, yes.
very good, thank you.
Next up, the no turnaround sign. We are looking for permission to move the no turnaround sign that's currently sitting at the garage, on the wall of the garage for DPW. It has gotten worse, the amount of people that are turning around in our driveway. Police cars have almost been hit, people have almost been hit. We'd like to be able to move it somewhere where people actually see it. And we'd also like to be able to put a no parking sign. So there's those 4 spots that's kind of borough parking. People are started parking along the sidewalk for like farmers market and stuff like say like emergency zone or no parking, emergency vehicles only. Fear becomes as, if something would happen, especially during farmers market, we couldn't get in there. The ambulance couldn't get in there. So we are asking to have the ability to move that sign, maybe not like where the mulch is on the triangle, but in the cement part of where the triangle is, so people actually see it. I didn't even know, to be honest with you, that we had a sign. AJ had to like literally point it out to me and like take me to, because nobody's gonna see it on the building.
Right,
It needs to be in the parking lot.
You talking over by the garage doors also? Is that what you're talking about?
No, we're talking about,
Right out there by the bell and everything.
yeah, we wanna put it out there. So people actually see it. Doesn't have to necessarily be with the bells and all that stuff. But it has to be, we feel like the best place to put it be somewhere on that sidewalk, so people actually saw it.
Do you think we need 2? 1 for each side?
I would think so, but
In the street?
Yeah,
I mean, it's getting bad.
I know.
And then I think the no emergency parking, like no parking, so people stop. I mean, I understand that people have a hard time walking in the farmer's market, sometimes gets busy. But I mean, it's gotten to the point now where cars are parking cars in, so we're trying to alleviate some of that. So I'm just asking if anybody has an objection.
no, not at all,
I will talk to DPW then.
Yep. very good.
I was asked to bring this up, signs on public property. A reminder, under our code 250-75 G, temporary signs in public interest may be approved by the zoning officer for erection in accordance with the requirements of this chapter for a period not to exceed 60 days. This rule, we're gonna create larger rules to make sure that, but all of this has to go to Matt first. So we ask that before anybody chooses to put a sign up, that it comes to us, just like when people ask for us to put up a billboard sign or a sign at cribs, there's no difference to ask us if they can put.
You're talking the little signs,
little
yard signs and
those are
everything,
temporary signs.
right?
On public property.
On public property. And the other thing we're reminding people, and they're gonna start pulling them tomorrow, is the tree beds. We're gonna start pulling the signs out of the tree beds. Those are public property also, and I'm sure the Shade Tree Commission wouldn't appreciate it if somebody accidentally hit a root or something like that. So we're trying to make it equal for everyone, much like the food truck policy. This is a rule that you set for. So,
I think this is also a really important component of kind of, we were talking about the last meeting, like the beautification of the town and. Not that we're saying no, but having a process so we don't end up cluttered with signs kind of
we
haphazardly.
don't clutter with signs. My other argument is we don't clutter with signs of things that aren't happening in Verona itself.
True.
We've talked about signs in public property. Maybe before you became borough manager, but a handful of different times, and we're gonna clamp down on it for the exact same reasons that Ms. Reddick just said a minute ago. And a second ago, and we get gung ho on it, but then it sort of slacks off. All I can do is say that whatever you do, you have to do it consistently.
Mhm.
You have to. There's signs up there on the corner of Giant Eagle or Gecko that are there all the time, and those were pointed out the last time we were going to clean up the borough and make sure everybody doesn't put in these signs. We're coming up to election time, so political signs are gonna get out there, and, do you take them out? Well, the ordinance says they're not permitted, so.
And here's my question for you as a solicitor, and I would like to sit down and talk to you about that, like the signs at Giant Eagle, like at the get-go.
Mhm.
How much control do we have over those? Because 99% of the time, they're on their side of the property.
No, they're not, they're right on the sidewalk.
Now, who owns the sidewalk?
That's.
I'm just trying to figure it out, because that's a question I've been asked, so I was just asking.
My position is there, unless Gecko's given them permission, that violates the ordinance.
Perfect, that's all I needed to know.
So I'd like to get clarification too,
Mhm.
because I know that there's a right of way that
Right.
goes from the end of the sidewalk that abuts to the road so many feet in toward whether it's a private property or a business property. Now, my understanding, and this could be incorrect, is that 6 feet or 8 feet or whatever it is belongs to the owner of the property, but it's a right of way so that gas or electric people or whoever who needs access to that 6 or 8 feet to repair a pole, lighting, you know what I'm saying?
That's correct, and they shouldn't be cluttered with signs,
And there is a code that says that you cannot put a sign in the right of way.
and that's all.
That's a different code. But there is a code written to the policies. I have read and as you said, Craig, we're taking this much more seriously because it's becoming a bigger.
Just be consistent, whatever
Yeah,
you do,
we're gonna
just
be
be
very-
consistent.
So all the picnic signs that are out are gonna be pulled out?
No.
We said we would leave them in, but the one request we do have is that people ask us. Especially things like that, because they are not, some of them are in the right of way.
So for community
It's a temporary sign.
events, that's a temporary sign, just call it borough
You have,
office?
there will be, the Community Development Committee is coming up with the exact rules of how soon they can go up. And how fast they have to, after the event.
And perhaps like a form, are we thinking a form?
I mean,
It's actually, there was a permit form here years ago.
Yeah, like 2019.
But yes, we will be working, next week with the community development meeting. Policy and ways that make sure.
Your meeting's on that.
So political season, I don't, I have plenty of places, if I'm gonna be worried about signs personally, but for all the people that are running for judge or, this or that, or county executive, they have no idea about this, and we would probably be the only small town in Allegheny County that would be pulling all their signs out as
Not
soon as
in
they
right
come
of
in.
ways. Oakmont has the same rule we do about right of ways and public property. These aren't rules, I mean, these are rules that govern most small cities. Nobody's saying freedom of speech says you can put a sign in your yard.
No,
as much as
I
you
understand.
want.
I'm not debating that. I'm simply saying that, I don't know, Tom Wolf, I mean, he's not running anymore, but let's say he was, as an example. He sends his people, because he's running for governor, and there's all these people that go and stick signs in wherever they have been sticking the signs for the last 50 years that there's been signs. How do we let these people know from these various offices that they can't do that, because they aren't gonna know it?
I mean, they should know how to use Ecode 360.
They're not doing that in Penn Hills and
Everybody-
Aspen. They're not
Most-
doing that.
most
I'm
Just
just
listen
saying.
to Craig a second.
Most communities have some form of a sign ordinance that regulate political signs in one form or another. And I'm familiar in the various communities that I represent, that they are different. And I think that, you know, the people that are running for countywide seats or multiple community seats, you know, they have to familiarize themselves with the ordinances in those communities that they're putting signs out. And usually when you put signs out, somebody will call and say, hey, those signs aren't allowed there. You need to come take them out. Or they'll take them out and they'll bring them back to the borough building or municipal building, and they'll say, your signs are down here, come get them, or in a week, we're throwing them out. And that's what, I know that's what Penn Hills does.
And that's our plan too, is if they end up on public property or the right of way, they will be pulled. We'll bring them back to the office. We will call the campaign. They have 5 days to pick them up.
I think that, yeah, kind of answers Nancy's question is,
Yeah, so that's all fine, well and good, but where's that part of it written down into an ordinance?
That's a
That we have
courtesy.
5 days.
That's a courtesy.
That's a courtesy. Truthfully, I could tear them down at that moment. It says no political signs can be on public property.
That I read an ordinance, I couldn't find where it said that.
I'll find it for you.
I could give a little feedback from when I used to work on several campaigns, both personally and with unions. And it is the campaign manager's job to scope out the area that you're campaigning in, know all of the ordinance in the area, because some towns are gated communities and they have strict no soliciting laws to where if you knock on their door, you can get arrested. So that is the campaign manager's job
Yeah,
to make sure they know the town's ordinances.
right, and I'm not
codes.
debating any of that. I'm simply saying, since I've lived here for the last almost 17 years and got more involved in noticing signs, like in the city, I just didn't really like pay attention that much. I just noticed every little town I go to, all around the area, they're everywhere. And what people should do and what people actually do, as we all know, are two very different things. And, you know, I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. It's just gonna be a tough thing.
adjusting, yeah.
Yeah.
Adjustment, but I mean, I know, I live in Plum. I know for a fact that you're not allowed to put a political sign in your right of way. And even in my
Plum's
house.
very strict on
And they will just-
enforcing their
Yeah.
political sign ordinance.
So that may be the difference. We've never enforced it before.
I think that's what Stephanie's getting to now.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying
We're gonna
to say
start.
is, if we're gonna have these ordinances, we need to definitely, and you know, my problem is, I drive to work every day, I notice these things, I notice things. Like signs for McKinley having a volleyball on public property. McKinley is not in Verona. People coming and wanting to put garage sale sign for Oakmont in our tree lawns. These are the things I notice, and those are the things that shouldn't be happening. Political signs, if you wanna have a political sign in your business, it should be at your building, not in your,
No, I agree.
in your right of way. If you wanna have political, it should not be in your right of way, especially it says no signs in right of way.
I'm gonna throw this up, What, and I know it's a different entity, telephone poles.
That,
That is a.
that's a different entity that I can't,
You're not allowed to post anything onto a telephone.
and who's, well, cause I can't.
I think it's UK Lights.
Right, it's a light company.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I know that.
No, you're right. Well, I have a question, and I understood every single word that everybody said. The day of election, we have 2 precincts now. Is there an exception where you can put signs that day and remove them at 8 p.m.?
Yes,
I believe the polling place you can.
the polling place you can't. That is the exception to the rule.
That's a good point.
Good
Because
question.
as a polling place, I think if I remember right, we were told we had to let them put the sign. Now, we were also told that if at 8 o'clock of that night, they were not gone, we were be allowed to take them down and throw them away.
Right.
Well, you gotta give people an hour to go around and take them out.
Well, the
Say 9
election,
o'clock.
the election people said 8 o'clock, so I'm just saying, but yeah, I'm not gonna say, I mean, who's gonna be here at 8 o'clock to make sure the signs are
At
up?
least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DPW is not working today,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
it's
sure
not
it'll be
next
okay.
Call them out for overtime.
Yeah, just take down signs.
Okay, next up.
All right, moving on.
Thank you on that question.
Budget survey. I'm working on a rough draft. Trish and I are gonna work tomorrow to get it finished so we can get it to the board, so we can get it going. This survey will, take the place of the Blue Dot Project, therefore giving more people the opportunity to take the survey. Last year, you had to be here to do the Blue Dot Project. This time it'll be online. You'll have about 2 weeks to finish the project, finish the survey, and we will show the results once completed.
And we'll have paper copies available.
Yeah, we'll have paper copies here available.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Can we just go back to signs for 1 second? I just wonder if we could all think about a way to get the information that's on the signs to the people that don't go on Facebook or online or whatever. Because for instance, the Rosedale, goes pretty big with their signs, and there is one on borough property
Mhm.
saying about Rosedale. And there may be a lot of people in town that that's the only way that they know that the road.
My argument with that is a person who's run nonprofits her entire life. It is not the borough's responsibility to make sure the nonprofits events. But we do. They asked, Rosedale asked, there's a sign at Cribs that we put up. We don't, if you ask, there's chances we will do that, but
Okay.
I don't like the idea of it being a borough responsibility to advertise a nonprofit event.
Okay, but so the simple answer to my question is. Whoever wants to put a sign like that up to get the word out to the more of the community that are less phone savvy or whatever you wanna
But
call it.
And that's what Stephanie said at the
It
very
should be
beginning,
That
right?
they
But
ask and then they can put those signs
But
up.
the signs on the parks are up to Parks and Rec to put those. If they want those signs at Cribs, we ask them.
Mhm.
Cause it goes on fencing and stuff like that. I don't make that decision.
Okay,
Thank
Again, update on Second Street. If you didn't know, work began today.
yeah.
It better have.
Bad
They kept
joke.
showing me trucks with bricks in them.
Just kidding, yeah.
It did.
And as long as it doesn't rain and the world all works out the way it's supposed to be. Shh, Craig, it didn't rain. You didn't see it. It will be done on September 20th. Please remember, this is what, again, this is just how the world works. We are doing the very best we can with what we have.
Stephanie, I have 2 questions, both about crosswalks.
Those will not be done, we do not know yet. Because we will be once this is finished, then we'll be going to center and stuff, so we'll figure it out. Matt and I are working on it, and with DPW, we'll try to figure it out. We have to figure out paint drying times and stuff like that. And cause I don't know if anybody learned a valuable lesson a couple weeks ago. They repaid the lines and stuff, and a bunch of people called and lost it because they had yellow marks all over their car.
Oh, yes.
So we just wanna make sure it dries and it's all done.
I have one question. Trish, you done?
Actually, for center, we shouldn't need like the yellow center lines. Based on traffic volumes unless we want them.
Well, yellow and white. It wasn't just the yellow that caused issues. It was the white that caused issues too. It wasn't drying fast enough.
Oh, I understand. I'm just saying for planning purposes and paint use purposes, we don't technically need the center lines unless we wish to have the center lines.
I thought someone did a survey or a study and said we don't need them.
Can't remember if it has one now.
I can't
On
either off the
center.
top
It
of my
does.
head.
It has a weird one line thing that's actually not official.
Yeah.
To go, council voted on putting a line on
Yeah.
Center
Right.
Avenue and Second Street.
Okay.
So it was a voted on project.
Second, we definitely did after we
So you
paved
have
the
to
first
send-
section, because a lot of people were cutting the turn
Mm.
Right.
tight.
Right.
So we'll need to put yellows up that the whole way now. Okay.
Yeah, and I would say, let's do a double. Where would you do it and not repeat the single
Yeah,
situation?
that's what I was-
My other question actually was about what you said earlier, Stephanie, with the turnaround. You mentioned there were some issues with pedestrians. I was wondering if we should think about doing any sort of cross.
I don't think that's,
Okay.
that's not, this is more of a problem of people using the turnaround as a
Turnaround.
turnaround instead of,
And it's a
thinking that,
sidewalk.
thinking that the borough is just a pass through.
Got it, okay.
When I say pedestrians, it's usually me or the chief or whoever's walking out to their car who's going, God help us that nobody hits us.
Right.
Okay,
You know,
Thank you.
something to consider, it's also no turnaround for the parking lot.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people just pulling in to turn around and go back out again. Using the parking lot, they're using it as a turnaround also.
mhm.
So, and last but not least, ARB is actually on the schedule for crack sealing.
Correct, Susan.
Next week, we'll see what happens. We don't have any control over that. That will be the state.
They do that at nights, I think.
Yes,
Either at nights or during, they have two time frames they do it at.
Tuesday through Saturday night.
Is it?
Last time I know they did it midnight.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll do it at night.
I have a question about Second Street.
Uh-huh.
Has anybody, or do we need to contact County Hauling and let them know that it will be closed for garbage pickup?
Good call.
Good call, yeah.
Yeah, I'll call them. I called the bus garage and I called.
Somebody
County
mentioned it on
Emergency Services.
Facebook and I was like,
I didn't think about that.
I never even
Good
thought
call.
about it.
Thursday, okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Do they
thank you.
pick up in the alley there?
I can't take credit. I saw somebody lives on Second Street, posted on
Um,
Facebook and I said.
I think
That's
it's
probably
something
something
like that.
We technically spend so much time making sure.
But just so they're
Okay,
aware.
okay,
This
okay.
money, that-
Now, Mr. Pitch is gonna call on it.
Thank you.
Anything else, Steph?
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Code enforcement report?
You have a copy of the code enforcement report. It does show, wait a minute, I go through my 100 pieces of paper. The two, violations we had this month, we had in August. Please understand the code enforcement officer was in Europe for 2.5 weeks, so it was a little slow.
Okay,
But he had a wonderful time in Europe.
good.
I heard he was making his round at some point.
Yeah, he's been making his rounds.
That's good.
Police chief's report. Chief?
Good evening.
Evening.
So the people at home can see you. So please leave it there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
This is for the month of August. We had, received 131 complaints, 34 crimes reported, 33 cleared. Had, 12 arrests, no code crime summaries issued, 6 vehicle code summaries issued, 10 borough code summaries issued, and 137 parking tickets issued. Our revenues, magistrate's fines collected was $790.61. Borough fines and fees collected was $765. Another $60 for police force purchased. And then $30 in municipal fines. Total is $1,645.61. And another $330 for parking permit fees. I just want to thank Lower Valley Athletic Foundation for the bike derby donation. Sergeant Franco's and I know Bracken will be holding the bike derby. Thank them too. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief. Fire chief's report, Dan T.
fire department answered a total of 9 calls for the month of August. 8-2, assist EMS with removing the patient from the home at 858 4th Street in Verona. 8-4, carbon monoxide alarm at 560 South Avenue in Verona, ended up being natural gas leaking from the stove. 8-7, electrical wires on fire at Selden Avenue in Verona. 8-7, commercial fire alarm, 200 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona, false alarm. 8-20, animal rescue, 433 School Street in Verona, cat stuck in the wall. 8-22, natural gas odor at 90 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona. There was odor coming from HVAC work. 8-23, natural gas leak, 736th Street rear in Penn Hills. 8-26, commercial fire alarm at 1 Deemore Drive in Verona. A water leak triggered the alarm. And 8:30, commercial fire alarm at 6721 Sylvan Road in Penn Hills, false alarm. The only way to get the kitten out would have been to cut walls and ceilings, and the, didn't want to do that, so they were gonna put some feet out to it out.
Okay.
Hopefully gone.
Sorry, I asked.
I'm gonna just say, that's it.
Can't lie to me next time.
If there's no other questions, I just want to mention 2 other things. We have a couple fundraisers coming up. We're having a United for Races this Saturday, September 16th at the Fire Hall. Doors open at 6 p.m. Races start at 7 p.m. Admission is $20, which includes food, drinks and beer, and side raffles will be available.
Do you know what the food is?
Mission barbecue.
Okay.
And Monday, September 18th from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're having a fundraiser at Texas Roadhouse in Wilkins Township. There's flyers posted in the lobby here at the Borough Building. If you take a flyer with you, 10% of all food sales will go to the fire department bank.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. EMS report, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Good, Jamie.
It's been very important, I was getting a lot of coffee.
Yep.
We did go to 40 calls, 15 AOS, 7 for BOS. 3 differences. 3 people, 2 cancellations. 2 fire standbys. 1 word, 1 people down. 1 transport by fire station. 5 of them will be referred each way due to being available for fire call in the area. Total responses 40, and we had 1 BRT tow with the rest of it.
Any questions?
And then on a side note, our new truck that we ordered 2 years ago is being delivery tomorrow.
Very good. Good luck. Thanks, Jamie. The solicitor's report.
Thank you. I submitted my solicitor's report. It's in your packet. I don't have anything further to add.
Thank you. Mr. Pitch, our engineer's report.
You have my written report. I did just want to mention, we had put a placeholder under new business for a resolution for the GEDTF grant. That's going to have to be held off until the workshop meeting. I don't have it quite ready for tonight. What we are working on to submit is another road reconstruction grant. With a lot of the feedback we've gotten from the community, along with the robotics, we were looking at 3rd Street, Athletic Street, Vogel's Lane, and then the alley between Athletic and 2nd, which is also between South and 2nd there. So all said, the grant that we're applying for is going to be just shy of 200,000. So I'll have all the other details in the resolution prepared for the workshop meeting. Other than that, things are moving forward with the CDBG 50 applications. it's not our guaranteed year, but we were still applying for ADA ramps that weren't funded last year and additional sanitary sewer lining. That's all I have.
Very good, Matt. Thank you.
Matt, are you selecting, back to your previous one, the road just, based off of, like, this public input, or is it also based off of, like, I don't know, infrastructure, engineering, like, economies?
So the ones for that I listed for the GEDTF.
Yes.
Those were public input. It was also based off the robotics. Every one of those was red.
Mhm.
And then especially with Vogel's Lane, it's a tough one because the ADT on it is so low. But I could not find anything historically on the last time it was paved. So I believe it's probably 30+ years, if not longer. And it is pretty bad, especially the dead end section. So that's what kind of got taken into account as well.
I'm gonna ask you a question, about infrastructure, since you're an engineer and I'm on the infrastructure committee, head of the infrastructure committee. We drafted a policy that we're still reviewing that says, based on what I understand to be industry standards, that it's more economical to maintain their number 2 and 3 roads rated from 1 to 5, with 5 being the worst. Because those will be more minor, less costly repairs that will extend the life versus spending a lot of your resources on number 5s. But given that so many of our roads are unfortunately 4s and 5s, do you have any thoughts about the best practice to approach that?
Really, when I take an approach at it, there's a couple number of factors. Obviously, you want to try to be fair to everyone's a taxpayer. But when you have a main road like Center that could see 8,000 to 10,000 vehicles compared to, and not picking on them, but Vogel's that could see 15 vehicles, there's a economy there that you have to look at as well. I think over the past few years, we've done fairly well at keeping up with our main roads, so we can start putting some attention on those more side lower roads. And if we do it right, which through the grant, instead of just doing a top coat, we're going full depth and rebuilding, that will get the 20+ years, if not longer, out of these roads due to the low amount of traffic on them. So I mean, there are a lot of factors that go into it. And definitely when you have main roads falling apart, it's a tough decision to pave a road that only has 5 homes on it. But I think we're, especially with the grant funds we've been successful with, we're getting to a point where we can start focusing on those roads that have been neglected so long.
Yeah, I'm sure if you need letters of support, we'd have a lot of taxpayers happy to write those.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
Finance Committee, Dr. Carpenter.
Wait, hold on, Sylvia had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
President, may I ask a solicitor's question?
Sure.
Back up.
Yep.
1 minute.
Sure.
This refers to garbage issue. Craig, what are we doing as far as all these delinquent accounts? We haven't discussed that for a while. Are we clearing a lot of them? Are these people paying now? Or do you have any idea?
I can't answer that because that's a county hauling issue. It's their job to go after the delinquent accounts.
Or we are not responsible?
We are
for
not their billing agent. Nope. They bill and collect their own accounts.
that? I just wondered, because it seemed like a lot of people were not paying.
Well, and we were in a predicament, a couple of years ago where they were refusing to pick up the garbage too, and it was just accumulating.
Yeah.
And we got that worked out, and the borough manager had talked to me about, it looks like that might be becoming a problem again, but how much time do they have left on their contract?
Okay, we'll start working on that night.
So one thing we're gonna do is, put a provision in the contract that they cannot suspend service. They have to take people to the magistrate if they want to, collect on their delinquencies.
The thing that concerned me is that if a ton of people are delinquent and it's time for us to go to the search into a new contract, who's gonna want us? That puts kind of a bad picture on us.
And one of the things that we found out was that, they didn't have the right addresses. A lot of the addresses were wrong. They weren't sending the bills to the right places. So You know, they need, I know that, they received an updated customer list, so.
I think if I remember right, most of the delinquencies were because of wrong owners' addresses or something like that.
Right.
It wasn't an individual not paying their
Right,
garbage
and
bill.
some are renters too, and I think they assumed that the landlord should or would pay. And it
Well, that's
wasn't
between the
working that way.
landlord.
That's not an excuse. You
No,
know what
it's
your
not,
bills
but-
are.
Yeah.
You know, but it's something they can use, it's a tool to use. But I appreciate the clarification.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Craig.
And
Thank you, Mr. President.
yeah, on that topic too with the garbage. When we are going forward to May. I guess I'm asking you, Steph, if you know, are we continuing to document every call that comes in? And, you know, there was a time 2 or 3 years ago where we were starting to document, because there's provisions in the contract that say, you know what I'm talking about, Craig? Or Matt,
Yes.
provisions in the contract that say, if all of these things are not being done, we have an option to not accept them as the lowest responsible bidder.
We do not get as many complaints as we used to, but I mean, when we do, we document them, but
I guess when we get to May and we're doing this, that, then we can deal with it.
we'll,
Put it
it'll
in
be
our-
sent out probably
Right,
earlier than that, but yeah, I mean,
right.
So we should probably state for the public, if you are still having issues with county hauling, to please also still let us, our office know.
but
Right.
please remember that there's certain things we can't fix, and we can tell you if an exception was made and they did not pick up your cash. Whether it be because it was blocked, or we seem to be getting a lot of overweight. And they will not pick it up if it's overweight,
What does that mean? Like a poundage?
poundage wise.
Take it back and see.
What is the weight, they say?
It's,
35
Yeah.
pounds a bag.
But I think I think in the past it has been communicated to the public to call here and call county hauling. Because in order for county hauling to come back and pick something up, they have to be notified, but there's been several people that I've heard about either on Facebook or, you know, in conversation that have called 2 or 3 times to county hauling and they haven't come back. I don't know if they've called down here, but I always tell anybody to make both phone calls.
we always,
All right.
we check the
All right.
exception list at all times.
We can keep an eye on that. Our finance committee, Dr. Carpenter,
Yes, our revenues for the month of August are 70,195. Our expenditures were 147,814. So our net was minus 77,619 for the month of August, but for the year, we have 442,530 in the plus column. In terms of major revenue receipts for the month of August, we received about $15,500 for sewer rental fees from Oakmont Water and 10,600 from the state for regional sales tax. Our major expenditures were to Alcoasand for a little under 159,000. And that's for 1,206 accounts. We also paid out 58,000 for is that for the new DPW truck?
Yeah.
Okay, and then also, our quarterly installment for our insurance, which was $13,000. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask now or contact me later.
thank you.
Oh, with the bills. I also need to make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter to pay the bills,
Second.
second by Ms. Redsdek Showalter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. Anything else, Nancy?
Nope.
Okay, rec and community events, Mr. Craig.
Yeah, I just have a couple things. We were asked at the workshop meeting at my recreation community events committee to discuss the food truck policy. So I'm asking everyone to look it over, and if you have any suggestions for changes, get them to me before I'm leaving at the end of the month so we can discuss it. And all the other thing is we talked about, the survey said that the story walk should go in Railroad Park. So we'd like to have a discussion about placement of the signs for the story walk. So if you have any ideas where to put down, contact me with that also. As far as the planning commission, what I was gonna do, I had talked to Roy over the phone, so I'm just gonna tell you what he already told us.
Very good, thank you. Public safety, Mrs. Provenza?
The ordinance, the chief and I had gone through, it. We have a couple questions for Craig. Once we get those questions answered, we'll go back to looking at advertising. We have a couple questions about the magistrate and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the chief, just so everybody knows, we're not pushing it off. The chief worked nights for like 2 weeks and now he's working second shift, so it's just getting.
Hard
us both
connecting.
in the same, all the same.
He wasn't in Europe though, right?
No, that was a code enforcement man who would not take me with him.
Communications, Mr. Floda,
I have nothing to report at this time.
thank you. Infrastructure and asset management, Ms. Redzak Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure and asset management will meet next Wednesday. We'll be revisiting the draft paving policy that I mentioned earlier. I also just want to mention to my committee, but obviously everyone had a budget talks to make sure you start writing down your wish list if you haven't already, and start communicating those with your committees. So we have a very fruitful discussion coming up. One thing I mentioned to Stephanie is the need for changing tables in all the boroughs, restaurants, and at cribs, women's and men's.
So what?
Changing tables.
Oh, yes. I was like, sorry.
You're good. So more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Community development, Mr. Long.
I have no update at the time, and so I will have a meeting next Monday. We will discuss things at the time.
Very
And are you done? I forgot to mention the finance committee meeting will be on the 25th of September.
Very good, thank you. Reports on special committees, A-Law, Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, sir. Under ALOM, Allegheny League of Municipalities, they are extending an invitation to the Government Benefits Seminar, which is going to be on Thursday, September 21, at the Cranberry Highlands Clubhouse. Registration is going to be at 8:30, 9 a.m. education classes begin, and at 2 p.m. the event will conclude. Lunch and refreshments will be provided, and it is free to attend, but you must register by Friday, September the 15th. For more information or to register, you can call ALOM at 412-261-2521.
And I've already registered to attend them.
Good. What are the hours again, Sylvia?
You register at 8:30 a.m. It starts at 9.
Okay,
And it concludes at 2 p.m.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it for A-Law?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
You're
COG, the meetings are canceled for the summer, nothing going on there right now. I'm sure they'll be back next month. Old business, nothing. New business. A and B, we're gonna,
A, we're gonna do, B, we're gonna table.
okay. I need a motion to approve the resolution acknowledging the presentation of the MMO worksheet for the non-uniform pension.
I'll make that motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Long, or Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
The resolution on the uniform pension, the reason that's being pulled is because we just don't have the MMO information back from the auditors yet.
Very
So we'll
good.
bring that back up next month.
Very
We
good,
should
thank you.
have it by workshop.
Or workshop rather, yeah, we'll do it at workshop if we have it.
Very good, thank you for the update. Resolution for supporting the proposal to designate Allegheny River Boulevard a scenic byway.
I'll make that motion.
First,
Second,
first by Mrs. Dr. Carpenter, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay,
We had talked at the workshop about eliminating that last line.
Right?
We changed it. It's worded differently now.
Okay.
and any other questions?
Can you say what the difference is?
Well, I don't have the original in front of me, but let me pull that up.
It just says we intend to.
It says you intend to instead of you shall.
You shall.
Yeah, we were obligated to.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Got
what the
Your
obligation-
intent might change down the road.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
And it also, the other thing is, that's different, it says, it used to say into perpetuity. I just changed it in the future.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna table the motion to approve the resolution for the GEDTF, right?
Yes, Matt, I did,
Okay.
we use it as a placeholder, Matt didn't know if we'd be able to get it done or not.
Okay, next, we need a motion to approve the raise for the school crossing guards effective payroll ending September 23rd, 2023. First by Mrs. Provenza, second by Mr. Long. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
We're pulling out.
We're pulling motion to approve the parking fee ordinance because we're still working on that.
And the advertisement, the other advertisement, if we don't have any reason, we don't have an advertisement still with us.
Or G, you mean G?
No.
For the change of the date.
Yeah, change of the date.
So whenever we advertise for the parking fee ordinance, we'll include the advertisement for the finance committee date change.
Why are we changing that?
And I have a problem with it because I have a commitment already on the 30th. That date was changed without a discussion by the finance committee.
Hmm, that's true. I'm
Who
sorry
asked for it to
about
be
that.
changed?
What's that? I'm changing it and I should have written to you guys, but I'm not gonna be in town on the 23rd or whatever it is.
And I'm actually a little concerned because we have a budget coming up and we've had one finance committee meeting since May.
Can you do it on Zoom or no?
I guess I could, I don't have access to the resources when I'm on Zoom, but. And. I don't think that I cancel every finance meeting for June, July and August, so.
The only one we had was July.
Okay, so,
I said one meeting since May.
Well, it's getting pulled right now, so why don't you guys figure out if there's a different day you can move it to that's not a day that anybody's in conflict with, if possible.
Or just keep it that day and who can make it can make it. Just keep it the original
well,
day
I
and
think I need to be able to make it since I'm the chair.
But she said she would consider Zoom.
And someone's gonna have to set it up here for it to be, so that there's
Well,
good
I think the
communication.
finance committee can work on getting something worked out, right?
It's early enough.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Motion to approve Roy Harbet to the Verona Borough Planning Commission. Motion by Mr. Long,
I think we need to know a little bit more about
Okay.
Roy. Bring him back up.
What do we wanna know, like what time he gets up in the morning?
is he like regular or decaf?
I've had about 5 texts since the beginning of this meeting saying that Roy is a great guy and that we should put him on.
How then?
Right.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Long. Do I have a second?
second,
Second by Mrs. Provenza. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and thank you.
Good luck.
welcome.
Yeah, lots of luck.
You're in, man. For the long haul.
The meetings are the second Thursday of the month.
As needed.
As needed.
Next is a motion to approve the street closure for East Railroad Avenue from Center Avenue to James Street from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Verona Chamber Car Cruise on October the 7th, 2023.
I'll make that.
Motion by Mrs. Provenza, second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions?
Yes, excuse me, the date's gonna be, or I'm sorry, not the date, the time, will be changed to 7 o'clock.
Okay, 2 to 7.
Yeah,
Cause it gets darker earlier.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking at the time.
And the thing is, that's. no
Yeah,
big
that's
deal.
not a big deal, but I just wanted to let people know.
Okay,
Mayor, I just want to make sure that, the businesses were spoken to about the change.
Yeah, they
yeah,
were.
he checked with them.
I know.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay,
Stephanie, do you have another motion we had to do for something in October?
We did, we already voted on it. We voted when
We
it
did
came up on the
meeting,
agenda.
Okay.
Did we say all in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. I thought we did already, but
Sorry.
Just wanted to hear your voice.
no update. He's talking about four
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You're off tonight. Announcements, newsletter, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Hope you all enjoyed your newsletter, which we got here a few days ago. Next edition is due Wednesday, November the 1st, and it will cover December, January, and February. And this will be the holiday edition. And with a number of events being scheduled, we would really appreciate if these articles would come in as early as possible, please. You can send the articles to Dawn and Ward at Verona Newsroom at gmail.com, or it can be reached at 412-828-3607. And for ads, I can be reached at 412-828-7726. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting is going to be Tuesday, September 19th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And Chamber is still looking for sponsors for the upcoming Jolly Jamboree. And we already discussed the new car cruise date, which is going to be October 7th. And at the car cruise, we're going to have a 50-50 raffle, some good music, and food truck. The diaper drive is still on, and it will go until Saturday, October 21. Any donated diapers can be dropped off at Edda's Doggy Daycare or at the Hula Bar. And don't forget about the farmer's market. It is every Thursday from 2 to 7. And events are being planned for Halloween right now. And as I was leaving, I got a real quick call from Stephanie Garabay. She said, please, you need to announce something for me. And her announcement was that Elsa from Frozen will be at the farmer's market this Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. So you may want to bring your children down to meet her and perhaps take a picture with her.
Just to add on to that, she also wanted to let everybody know, besides Elsa, the Cotton Candy Creations will be there, Evanly Bakes, Killer Crafts, Tom's Candy, Acres Creation, Mustard Market, Abella's Farm, Youth Vendors with slime and glitter tattoos. I want the slime tattoo. As well as bunnies. Real bunnies, because I was like, what kind of bunny? Real bunnies. And they're also gonna have Made to Learn from the high school.
Yeah, I had all that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you had, because she sent me this big long text.
Right, no, that's okay. No, I was writing 8 miles an hour and she was talking. I said, I gotta leave. No, you gotta write this down. So, yes, let's see. Yes, you threw me off. Stephanie.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure she was.
It's okay. Historical Society, meetings are back now from the summer vacation. And our next meeting is going to be Thursday, September 21 here in the Borough Building. And the speaker is going to be Dick Williams from the Oakmont Historical Society. And he's speaking on how Edgewater got its name. All are welcome, and it's a great meeting. Do attend. Twin Barrow Ministries, the community dinner is going to be on Wednesday, September 27th, at the Methodist Church here on Center. And it will be from 4:30 to 6:30. And it will be hosted by Oakmont Methodist Church. And also Church Hall is now open for dining indoors. Let me see. I think that is it. And in closing, if there's any questions or comments, I'll be glad to answer them. And if not, this concludes my reports, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
President, I got one quick
Mhm.
comment. The car cruise, I was thinking of this last week. This is the 27th year. And I know Mrs. Monroe, you know, you're always there also with your car. There's over $3 million worth of cars sitting out there.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, her husband has one, it's probably at 25-30,000. I have one, it's between 80 and 90,000, and last year we had 160 cars. And you go around and count the value of all of them, it's big dollars. And I never really realized that, you know, thought about that, that's all.
Mayor, question, if it's rainy or threatening and you
We're
have to
done.
cancel, it'll be it,
It'll be, we'll hand out the dash flags twice next year.
okay?
Mr. President, I have.
Okay,
I just wanted to remind people that the chamber is doing a fundraiser for Trunk or Treat. It'll be on October 1st at the Hula Bar. It's a Hocus Pocus fundraiser. It's a wine glass painting. The doors open at 1. The event will last from 2 to 4. It's $25, of which $10 goes to the chamber for Trunk or Treat.
very nice, thank you. Did anybody mention a community picnic?
Mr. President, I was just ready to say that. I was gonna say, I need the podium one more time. The Tree Pittsburgh is hosting a tree adoption event for the Verona residents at Deer Lakes Park on Saturday, September 23rd, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also, yes, our Verona Community Picnic will be on Saturday, September 23rd at Cripps Field from 1 to 5. And do attend. Been great every time we've done it, so we make a point of it to be there.
Yeah, bring your cash, there's gonna be 50-50 and auction baskets, probably 20 baskets
Oh,
available to bid on.
And Family Jewels is playing, right?
And Family Jewels is playing, I think they start at 2.
First place I ever saw the Family Jewels was at, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very good, thank you.
you're welcome.
This time we'll go to comments from the public. You have come to the podium or raise your virtual hand.
Virtual hand.
Where is it?
Seeing none?
I see none.
Oh, wait a minute.
What is that?
They unmuted themselves.
Motion adjourned.
Rhoda, you
I'll take a
talking?
motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr.
Second.
Long and
Hold
second
on,
by
hold
Mr.
on, hold
Levesque.
on, hold on, hold on.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Would wants to speak, but she doesn't know
Yeah.
how to raise her hand.
There we go. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Do we have to resend that motion? No, okay, we'll just go.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, Rhoda Wharf, 636.
Third.
Wait,
Pardon?
hold on. We're gonna hear from Rhoda and then Anna will hear from you. If you could, Anna, if you could mute, then we'll listen to Rhoda first, okay?
good, Rhoda.
Okay, Rhoda Wharf, 636 Third Street, Verona. I see that they're paving Second Street, which is really great. Now, through the time that we've had county hauling, they have totally destroyed my side of Wood Street from my driveway to the alley. What are the possibilities of, I know they're gonna have extra tar. What are the possibilities of them coming, or even our streets crew, to fix so I can have a curb? Because I'm losing, I mean, it's actually in pieces. I'm losing mulch, I'm losing everything. AJ did come up and see it, but maybe he can come back up and make an assessment, or anybody from council can come up and look at it and make an assessment. The tar, the asphalt is totally broken up all the way down. It's insane. It's unsightly, and it would be really great if we could use some of the tar from Second Street to come up and like sort of fix that up. I know I'm asking a lot, but I figured this would be the greatest opportunity to do it.
We'll have Matt check into it and see what the possibilities are.
We can
Yeah,
talk to
Matt.
him, but
That pitch? Mhm.
they have pretty big equipment.
Yeah.
To try to get it out there, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be
if
pretty
it'll
good.
work, but we'll definitely look into it.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Anna,
Anna,
Hi, I'm Anna Mayhood. I live at 651 Third, actually just a few doors down from Rhoda. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for everything you do. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a community. I get that. My only concern is since second closed today, I work from home. I can't tell you how many people drove down the wrong way on Third, including Penn Hills buses. My concern is that, first of all, the little children that live on our street aren't used to traffic coming the wrong way. And another concern is there's not enough room on our street since we park on two sides for two-way traffic. So I don't know if the police can monitor that more. But there was at least, I would say 15, 20 cars plus two school buses the wrong way today.
We spoke with the school, we spoke with Penn Hills today to alleviate that problem, and we're working on more signage.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Okay.
my suggestion to the board would put, basically a do not enter sign on top of Third and Wood Street there. Maybe that'll help alleviate.
yeah, I live on Third also. I seen it all today.
We've
Yeah.
been watching it all.
So
day. We're trying-
we are aware of it, Anna.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your concern.
So we can bring the signs up.
Anybody else?
Okay.
I'll take that motion now. Oh, we already have it on the floor. We just have to vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thanks for everybody for attending tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.